cool little 60 piece. That's only the neck though.
Last night a bitch nigga shot a real nigga, but we don't make no diss records, we just deal with it. Plus I be going through a lot, I never talk about it, and they using nigga songs in court, so I can't talk about it. Rap niggas think I'm dumb, like I don't see the play. I let them think they got the ups, then get them out the way. On FaceTime, my brother telling me he shot my mama, telling me to chill, but I know he seen that nigga face. But that's enough about that part. Talking about respect, well it's a must about that part. Playing with my money, well then it's up about that part. Cause when it's time to play ball, don't give a fuck about that part. They know I'm that nigga when they see me. Her man crush been a hater and her little brother won't beat me. Her friend been on my dick since I was passing out CDs. Her baby daddy a mark and her boyfriend probably a weenie. 3,300 on my book bag. Left some niggas in the past, but I don't look back. Shit kinda different, I ain't the man that I was. I seen death in too many forms and I ain't never really shook that. Don't let him rock you to sleep, true colors better believe him. I know that God got me, but I be riding with my reaper. Praying with my kids and even then I got my heater. And I be stepping so hard, this hoes in $1,000 sneakers. Take your bitch when I meet her and you ain't seen her in about 3 days. Knew I was a threat, I passed that stick like a relay. Spin it back to back, it's like a motherfucking replay. Turn your son into a bitch when I shoot, I think I'm D-Wade. Told him I'm a savage, if I want it, I'ma have it. Playing with my lettuce, cook your head like a cabbage. Tell them that I'm rich and I'm solid, that's the advantage. Bitch, bad kids, fresh little nigga, you can't stand it. Tell them big checks, yardsticks, not a ruler. All I smoke is ops and I don't never smoke a hookah. Looking for a blessing that's worth of Jesus and Judas. Tell them niggas game 6, my whole team full of shooters. I slide on a nigga like a motherfucking flip-flop. Pressure on your homie and I promise he a flip-flop. Talking that wooty-woo, something. I know the police listen, so I ain't really saying nothing. I know these niggas envy, they can't manage how they feel. Jealousy's for bitches, you niggas pussy for real. A nigga get the drop and he happen to shoot. First we heal up and get back, we ain't going on the shirt, I swear to God, nigga.
That woo-woo, something. I know the police listening, so I ain't saying nothing. Talking that woo-woo, something. Nigga, cock back and aim and leave you bleeding where you running, swear to God, nigga.
On the west side of South Central, where we got Tiny Diamond from A-Tray Gangster Crip and Lady J-Bone from neighborhood Rollin 60 Crip linking up and knocking down a reputable member from 6-0, backdooring plugs, and overall committing 4 murders in a 2-week time span in a situation where 2 historical enemy hoods get mixed up because 2 of their members want to be on some Romeo and Juliet shit while smoking cabbie. Now y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, comment, subscribe.
Now while smoking cabbie. What's the deal, y'all? What's the deal, y'all? We're Trapper tapping in TNN Trap News Network. Back in the same, like cook, cracking the same here at TNN Trap News Network. That was a lazy clap. What's the deal, y'all? It was a lazy clap. It wasn't the measures. TNN Trap News Network. If I get lose your views, I get Alejito. You ain't finna get nobody's Alejito. Big dog, tap in with the tap in and make sure you are in fact tapped in with that good tap in. Hit that notification bell here. Also say tapped in for the latest and the greatest. It's Sunday, so we ain't finna hold y'all with a long intro, but I need y'all to follow Rap News and Street Politics, the best hood YouTube channel we got going on, man. We finna jump into this content, man. A vicious backdoor murders. A-Tray Gangster Crips, Rollin 60S slide together, Tiny Diamond, and Lady J-Bone. The Romeo and Juliet story from Slauson to Manchester. Let's get into it. Let's go. Wait.
Seen all the comments for the next report card. We doing the non-affiliates next. So y'all make sure y'all stay laced up for that. Now this situation isn't as far-fetched as it may seem. You know, dudes and females from the opposite side are always together. We always hear about people talking about they smacking on their enemigo baby mama or something like that. You know, it's not entirely an uncommon thing to be playing around with the other side, but it's not always that it's your main enemy, like we see here with the A-Trays and the 6-0s. Now, again, it does happen, but a lot of times we'll see situations where it's like a female from BPS dealing with a dude from Mona Park. Still opposite sides, but not direct enemies. Now, the most common way this thing happens is how it happened between Tiny Diamond and Lady J-Bone. Even though there's a slight age gap between these two, they knew each other since elementary school. And that's usually where relationships and things start.
I mean, yeah, before everybody starts tripping in the streets and all that kind of stuff, everybody was once a kid.
Everybody had a friend or knew people that was from opposing sides that was cool in either junior high or high school. You know, when I was in high school, 2 of my closest friends was in the same type of situation. One of them being from A-Tray and the other one being from 6-0. Now, we was going to View Park at the time, in the 6-0s. So as you can imagine, my boy from A-Trey, shout out to both of them. I'm not going to say their names, but my boy from A-Trey was having some issues pulling up over there. But he was still cool with the other homie from 6-0. So this is not something that's entirely uncommon to see something on this scale. But it is uncommon to see both of these sides link up and backdoor homies from their own set. And even if it's not a backdoor, linking up with a female from the other side and doing multiple hits with her in her neighborhood is somewhat of a rare occurrence. Now, we know how these females are. We know how they will get niggas jammed and put in a bad situation, even if they from your hood. We already know how it go down. But Tiny Diamond and Lady
The jam is always there.
J-Bone did the most. And both of them just lost their appeals last month, June 2nd, 2025, on 4 homicides. Now, starting with Tiny Diamond, David Bean from A-Trey Gangster. He's currently 45 years old. At the time of these hits that took place in 2016, about 36. Now, we spoke about Young Diamond in our A-Trey Gangster Crip federal indictment video. This is somewhat a Young Diamond's older homie. Tiny Diamond is a couple years older than Young Diamond, but both of these dudes got reputable names. The Diamond name and all is a reputable name in the A-Trays. And with Tiny Diamond messing around with Lady J-Bone, he said the 6-0s put a hit out on him for dealing with her and playing around in their hood too much. Now, Lady J-Bone,
Showing a picture of Jay Outlaw is crazy.
Jeanette
Shout out to Jay Outlaw.
Williams, or Gigi as some may call her, she was for show on that shit. And when everything boiled over, she went on to say she was never even put on to 6-0, but she's a couple years older than Tiny Diamond. She's 49 now. So she was in her 40s when everything took place. She was an older Cripolette, so to speak. And even though she said she didn't fully get actually put on a 6-0, and she admitted to being out there playing with the Yola, the 6-0s clearly still had love and high respects for her as one of their own. So this is why they put that hit out on Tiny Diamond. Now, like I said, both of these two grew up together, and both of these hoods was beefing before they even crossed paths way back in elementary school. We know A-Trey 6-0s, countless murders
That's historical generational beef.
between the two, and extremely active and up-to-date wars still cracking between these hoods. In the beef that's lasted at least 50 years on the west side. But none of that shit seemed to matter when it's a relationship going on, you know? But in 2016, it seemed like gangbanging and drug usage took this relationship to another level that both of them probably didn't realize it would go to. So we gotta rewind the clock back to July 26, 2016. So Tiny Diamond had a black Malibu that he was spinning in, and this black Malibu ended up on Gage and Western at about 5 a.m. that morning. Now, Gage and Western, the perfect spot for some bullshit. Now, it's not as hot as Florence and Western, but Gage and Western, still the trifecta. Rollin 60s, A-Trays, and 6 Deuce Brims all gonna be around here. Very active area. Now,
Yeah, Gage and Western is one of those gray areas.
Lady J-Bone stayed on 65th between Western and Harvard, 2 blocks down from Gage, so she's familiar with this area again. 6-0 and A-Trey affiliates, this is the stomping grounds right here. Now, at this time, Lady J-Bone is outside the car, and Tiny Diamond is sitting in the Malibu while she hollered at her old dude, Marcus Wilkerson. Now, people in the area knew Lady J-Bone as being somewhat aggressive. They said a lot of people were scared of her for whatever reason. I don't know why. But her ex was scared of her. He was dealing with a new female
She probably out there whooping herself.
by the name referred to as LS in their appeal paperwork. Now, Lady J-Bone is tripping on Wilkerson for smacking on LS. I don't know why she dealing with Tiny Diamond, and I don't know why Tiny Diamond would even be around this bullshit. Her tripping on her ex-dude about him smacking on another female, you know, just a bad situation. Usually situations that involve that caveat. This is the type of shit that be going on when the smoking is involved. But at 5 a.m., witnesses over here on Gage and Western heard somebody say, "Is this how it's gonna be? I can't believe you doing this to me. And is it gonna end this way?" Before they heard a 4-5 crack off in the early morning. Now, what usually happens in the middle of the night, if it's not a
Sheesh. Doing that to the person you love is wild.
grip of shots going off, 1 shot, I'm staying in the bed. If it's like 10, okay, we probably gonna go outside and see what's going on, especially if it's like 10 in a car crash or something. We probably gonna go outside, but one shot, we gonna stay in the crib, and that seemingly is what happened right here. Marcus Wilkerson's body wasn't found until an hour later after this gunshot rang off by somebody walking down the street, where he was laid up under a car with a gunshot wound to his upper thigh, right by his groin. That caused extensive bleeding, and he bled out right here on Western and Gage. Now at this time, everybody gets to talking, and LS pulls up and starts making statements to the police about how Wilkerson was dealing with Lady J-Bone, and how Lady J-Bone had confronted her at one point, saying she gonna kill her and Wilkerson if she keeps smacking on her dude. She said if she
really meant that.
Can't have him, nobody can.
But that's crazy though, because you're dealing with a whole different dude. So now you mad at your ex for moving on when you've already moved on. That's incredibly abusive.
But this is when the folks got the first sniff of Lady J-Bone being involved in his first homicide. LS also told the police that Wilkerson told her if anything happened to him, it's gonna be because of Lady J-Bone. And another witness had came forth, a worker from Jack in the Box from around the corner, saying that Lady J-Bone had pressed her because she was being too friendly with Marcus Wilkerson, giving him free food and some more shit. And this is when she said Lady J-Bone was rolling with somebody in a black Malibu. This is now the first time.
Like, being too friendly, like, this nigga gave you a jumbo jack and now you tripping, like, what's going on here, bro? Your man getting a free side of fries is not a reason to catch a body.
That the police are introduced to Tiny Diamond's whip. Now, police ended up catching with Lady J-Bone after this, and of course had questioned her. They had seen that her cell phone had pinged off the tower that was close to the situation. She said she was over there because she'd been looking for him to make sure he made his court date because she helped bail him out in a previous situation. She said she wasn't jealous of LS or none of that, but after talking to the police and getting off, her and Tiny Diamond approached LS. And this is when Lady J-Bone pulled that same 4-5 out, and Tiny Diamond said, "Keep my fucking name out your mouth." And that she seemingly did because everything went quiet at this time. And about a week and some change later, Tiny Diamond and Lady J-Bone pull up to Imperial and Cherry at that King's Motel in Inglewood, looking to get served.
One of two deadly shootings in Inglewood today. The first one was at King's Motel on Imperial Highway around 2:45 a.m. That's where police say they found 52-year-old Sean Pryor suffering multiple gunshot wounds.
Now, they also had another female with them named Tiffany Doxey. Now, this is a female from Gardena. I think she went to El Camino College, and she also had ties to 79th and Normandy and 74th and St. Andrews in the A trades. And I think she was also dancing in the club. So she's somebody that one of these two know, and she took him to meet up with Sean Pryor and his wife Sandy, who was serving out of this motel over here in Inglewood. Now again, August 9th is 2 in the morning. All three of them walk up to the hotel room, but Tiny Diamond fall back and let Tiffany Doxey and Lady J-Bone knock on the door. Tiffany introduces Lady J-Bone to Sean and his wife, and they go inside trying to get the sack. At this time, Tiffany dips out the room and leaves Lady J-Bone in there to finish her business, where she slides some fake.
Sound like it's finna be a flu flam afoot. As soon as you take your eyes off somebody is when the flu flam commences.
Prop money to Sean Pryor for the cabin. Now he's giving her change back and ends up noticing that this is fake movie money and tells his wife to get the strap because this bitch trying to play with me. The crazy part is he was pump faking. He didn't have that thing. And this is when the tussle ensues. So she trying to get out the room and he then pulled her and hemmed her up. Tiny Diamond noticed it go all bad and he comes to
Damn, bro, you pump fake, you ain't even got a BB gun?
And try to pull her out. Now somehow they get the door closed. Tiny Diamond ended up breaking the window and busting through the window, killing Sean Pryor, hitting him in the chest, and leaving him laid down face on the ground in a pool of blood and fake prop money. Now I believe Sean Pryor was a part of the Deuces Motorcycle Club, and he did have ties and stayed in Compton, I believe, in the Fruittown Pyrus. But he was the next victim to seemingly lose his life surrounding this relationship between Tiny Diamond and Lady J-Bone. Now, as you can see, it just so happened that they sitting here taking turns on murders. And one thing we have to know, they still got the same 4-5 that was used to kill Marcus Wilkerson. Now, luckily, Sean's wife wasn't hitting this situation, but she saw everything and she knew Tiffany Doxy. So as the police pull up to the motel, Lady J-Bone hops in the car with Tiffany Doxy and they follow Tiny Diamond to get away from the scene, and they end up on 79th and Van Ness, on the borderline of the families and the A-Trays. Now, mind you, Tiny Diamond did have ties to 80th Street. I believe he stayed around 80th and Dinker, and he also had recent ties to Hemet. But nonetheless, this is his hood. He's familiar with this area. So they pull up to 79th and Van Ness and pulls into a little store going ahead of Tiny Diamond. As she's backing into her spot, car in reverse, Lady J-Bone whips that same 4.5 out and shoots her in the...
Oh, yeah, she been riding around with this little 4 Fiji like it ain't needy. You feel me? We're going to let y'all catch the rest of this on Rap News Street Politics, man. Big shout out to bro. We up out here to the next one, though. Y'all know the deal. Red down to the left. Y'all know the rest. Free Avenue Angel Tweets free. We